All right, let's jump right in. We hear all the time about AI models getting bigger and more powerful, but what about actually getting smarter? Well, it turns out there's this secret world, this kind of hidden geometry that completely dictates whether an AI becomes a brilliant problem solver or just, a brittle memorizer. And today we're going to explore that landscape.
I mean, have you ever wondered about this? Why is it that one AI can write a beautiful sonnet, but another one, built on pretty much the same tech, completely fails at a simple logic puzzle? The answer, a lot of the time, isn't in the raw power, but in how they're trained. And even more specifically, it's about the kind of terrain they learn to navigate during that training.
And that's really the core idea we're digging into today. The whole process of training an AI, it's kind of like sending an explorer out into this massive, invisible mountain range. Now, obviously, it's not a real physical place. It's a mathematical one. A landscape that's literally defined by every possible mistake the AI can make.
So to really get a handle on this, we've got to get a clear picture of this terrain. Let's start by mapping out this AI learning landscape.
All right, so this is what researchers call the loss landscape. Just imagine a huge 3D map where every single point represents a different possible version of the AI model. The height or the altitude of any point on this map, that's just a measure of how wrong the AI is. Its error or its loss. So super high peaks, that means tons of errors. Deep, low valleys, way fewer errors. And the whole goal of training is just to find the absolute lowest point you can on that entire map.
But here's the twist, and this is the really crucial part. Not all valleys are created equal. You've got two main types. First, you have what are called sharp minima. Think of a really deep, narrow canyon. Sure, if you land perfectly at the bottom, your error is super low. But if the data changes just a tiny bit, if you shift just an inch, bam, you're suddenly climbing a super steep wall and your error just skyrockets. That's what makes an AI brittle. Then, on the other hand, you have flat minima. These are more like wide open basins. This is where you want to be. This represents a robust AI, one that can generalize well to new data it's never seen. And we desperately want that wide basin, not the narrow canyon, because that's the difference between a self-driving car that works in all weather and one that fails in a light drizzle.
Okay, so if these flat valleys are so much better, why don't we just always find them? Well, it often boils down to our obsession with speed, and that need for speed creates a really nasty trap. See, to train these absolutely massive AI models faster, we have to feed them huge chunks of data all at once. These are called large batches. And yeah, it speeds things up for sure, but it's kind of like a reckless driver just flooring the gas pedal while trying to navigate that mountain range we talked about. They're moving so incredibly fast that they just blow right past the wide, gentle basins and end up careening into the very first steep canyon they come across. And hey, this isn't just a nice little analogy. The research actually backs this up. A paper from Yao and his team confirmed it. They found that when you train with these large batches, you consistently steer the AI right towards those nasty, sharp minima. So our need for speed, it has a really big hidden cost. It makes our AI models fragile. Okay, just take a look at the data here. It's pretty shocking. Let's focus on that column on the right, sharpness. You can think of that number as just how steep the walls of the valley are. Now watch what happens. As the batch size on the left goes up, from 128 to over 2,000, look at that sharpness number. It doesn't just go up, it absolutely explodes from a gentle 1.33 to a crazy steep 80. And get this, the actual test accuracy in the middle even starts to drop with the biggest batch size. We're literally trading robustness for speed, and it's a terrible trait. And this bar chart just drives the point home visually. I mean, you can't deny that incredible jump in sharpness. We're not just ending up in slightly steeper valleys here. We're getting stuck in completely different, way more treacherous parts of the landscape. This is the large batch speed trap, right here in action. All right, so if speeding is the problem, how do we find our way to that better, flatter ground? Clearly, we need a much smarter way to navigate. And this is where a really clever technique called sharpness-aware minimization, or SAM for short, comes into play. Instead of our reckless driver, think of SAM as a wise, patient explorer. SAM doesn't just blindly look for the lowest point right underneath it. Nope. Before it takes a single step, it pauses. It surveys the entire neighborhood around its current position, and it's specifically looking for a spot where the whole area is low and flat. It's all about prioritizing stability over just finding the absolute deepest point. But how in the world does SAM actually pull this off? What's its secret for finding these nice, stable regions? Well, it turns out the answer is all about teamwork inside the model itself.
So, what exactly is SAM's secret technique? How does it find these flat landscapes? The real magic isn't just about looking around. It's about something much deeper. It's actively changing the internal dynamics of the AI. To get this, we need to introduce a new concept called norm deviation. It sounds a little technical, but the idea is actually super simple. Think of an AI model like a big team of specialists, right? And each component has its own job to do. Well, norm deviation is just a way to measure if the workload across that team is balanced. If you have a high deviation, it means a few star players are doing all the heavy lifting, while everyone else is kind of slacking off. Low deviation, that means everybody's pulling their own weight. It's a true team effort. Okay, now here's the key difference. A standard training method, like SGD, it doesn't care about this team balance at all. If the model starts out with an imbalanced team, it just stays that way. You end up relying on a few star players, which makes the whole system fragile. But SAM is different. SAM acts like a smart coach. It notices when a few components are getting overworked, and it actively encourages the whole team to work together better. It literally corrects the imbalance and reduces that norm deviation over time.
And right there, that's the crucial connection. SAM finds those nice, flat, stable valleys in the loss landscape because it's enforcing balance inside the model. By making sure all the parts of the AI learn in harmony, it just naturally creates a more robust system. That internal teamwork is the real secret to successfully navigating that external landscape.
Now, SAM is absolutely brilliant, but there's a catch. All that surveying the area before every step, well, it takes extra time and a lot of extra computation. So naturally, this led researchers to ask a really important question. Can we get all the benefits of this team balance, but, do it more efficiently?
And that brings us to the next step, a newer, more efficient method called deviation-aware scaling, or DAS. What DAS does is pretty clever. It takes the key insight we learned from SAM, that balancing the team is a secret, and it just applies it directly. So instead of doing all of SAM's costly calculations to indirectly create balance, DAS takes a shortcut. It just goes in and explicitly scales the model's components to balance them out. It's a much more direct, much faster path to the same goal.
And when you look at the performance, the results are really, really compelling. So the top row is our baseline, standard SGD. Now look at SAM. It gives you a fantastic 2.83% boost in accuracy. But look at the runtime. It more than doubles the training time. Ouch. But now look at DAS. It still gives you a solid accuracy bump, but it only increases the runtime by about 40%. It manages to capture a lot of the goodness of SAM, but without that huge computational price tag. It's the efficient sweet spot.
So really, what this whole journey shows us is that by first understanding the geometry of the problem, by understanding the landscape, we can then build much better tools to navigate it. You could say SAM was the explorer who went out and painstakingly mapped the terrain. And DAS is the super efficient GPS we built using those maps.
And that really leaves us with one final big question. We've journeyed through this incredible hidden landscape, right? We went from understanding why some AIs are so brittle to discovering these smarter ways to train them. So as we get better and better and mastering this terrain, creating models that are more robust, more efficient, and just more reliable, what new frontiers is that going to open up? What currently impossible problems will we finally be able to solve?